building empathy, or another tool that is used to build empathy with users is called a customer journey map. It actually shows the entire process, or a process that a person or a user goes through to accomplish a specific task with a specific product. In this case, maybe since we are IT people, we can say maybe if you have a system, you're saying the process a specific user goes through when interacting with that specific system. So it basically captures the experience someone goes through while interacting with maybe a process, a product, or a service. That's what we call a customer journey map. That is the second tool that is used to build empathy. We are saying it is used to do a lot of things. As you say, it is used to understand and addressing customer needs and pain points. It begins by compiling a series of user goals and actions into a timeline skeleton. So how you begin this customer journey map? You begin with who is the user, um, what is their goal, and what are their expectations. Uh, uh, Let me go back to the example of the admission. The admission, I'm assuming Cavendish has an admission system. So you get to know maybe one of the users of the admission system is is a student. Okay, a person, a student that comes to apply. So what we're going to first we have identified is a student. What give a scenario, one scenario that that student can go through using that system? I would say maybe applying for a course. What are their expectations at the end of that application process? We expect that they should be able to submit their application form. So that is our scenarios that a student applies. Is maybe is going to go through the application process. The expectations, they expect that their submission has been successful. Those are the main three inputs for a a customer journey map. So in the application process, we go ahead and say what things or what actions does the student have to perform to to apply for a program in Cavendish. I can say maybe the first thing that the student has to do is basically I explained the entire scenario of the application process. What are their expectations to be able to successfully submit their application? I will clear on what a journey map is. Am I audible? And everything is clear,
Yes,
Paul?
ma'am.
Okay, I think Paul is recording, so probably he can't unmute. Okay, if everything is clear, we can continue. So basically, when you have such a journey map, then you as the designer, as the thinking designer or the design of that system, you have the entire scenario drawn up for you, so you know it will enable you understand what the student goes through in this system. So when they tell you it takes long to do this specific thing, you have a clear idea of all the steps a student goes through to apply for a course. Um, some of the I think I have an example. I think you have an example down. Maybe you will see it. Some of the characteristics of a journey map is that it is always tied to either specific product. In this case, it can be like a process, a system, or service. We split it into four swim lanes. the phases, the actions, thoughts, and mind stroke emotions. Though there are many formats, you can adopt when you go on the internet. I think even the slides have them. There are many formats based on which specific field you want, or based on what you're going to design. You choose one of that, but those are the main four swim lanes that we have in a customer journey map. Why do we use it? Um, or before I go to why do we use it, like for example, the admission process where we're having a lecture, we're having enrollment officers, students, accountants, and maybe registrar. We are saying there is always one map per person. Like you don't map for the entire group. Like you can't say I am mapping for all the users of the admission process or admission system at once, so that you have one journey map. It is always one map per user. So you have a customer journey map for the student, then you have one for the enrollment officer, then you have one for academic registrar. So you don't map for a group of users. You map for each user on that specific system that maybe you want to design, or you're thinking of to design. Why do we use it? It helps us to pinpoint specific customer journey touch points that cause pain or delight. So, like in the process of in the scenario of the student, when they're telling you, I first upload this, then I verify my documents, then I generate a reference number. So you get to know every scenario or every action a student does on that admission process. So it is easy to identify others. It is easy for a student to tell rather than generally saying the system is terrible, it is easy to pinpoint out that it's specifically at the point of generating the payment reference number that this system slows down. Since you've already gone through all the actions that the student goes through in that admission process, it is easy to pinpoint out at what point is this system maybe not performing to your expectations, rather than saying in general that the system is terrible. Another reason why we use it is to break down into parts that are shared organization organization-wide understanding of the customer journey. And lastly, to assign ownership of key touch points in the journey to internal departments. So you get to know who is in charge of enrollment. There is this person who is in charge. If we have issues of generating a payment reference, maybe number, then that means we have someone in accounts that has to deal with that. So it is easy to assign ownership of key points that need to be addressed. So you as the design team, okay, at the point of generating reference, who is really responsible for this and this, the accounts department. When do we use it? We can use it at any stage of the design process. It can be at the start, it can be at the end of it, can be at any point you can use it. So we have an example here of a customer journey map for a user. We are trying to come up with the customer journey map for Jamie. But before I continue to the example, is everything clear? Okay, Samuel, is everything clear?
Yes.
But Paul, you might be saying clear, yet you're like, I haven't understood anything. I don't even have any question to ask. I better say it is clear. Okay, but let me just go with the answer that everything. Ndio mwenye everything is clear?
Yes, ma'am. Everything is clear.
Okay, let's continue. So we have an example of a journey map here. So we are trying to look at Jamie, and Jamie's scenario is that Jamie needs to switch her current mobile plan. She wants a plan that can save her money without having to sacrifice usage of limits. So we decide to go or to come up with a journey map for for Jamie basically. So in that scenario, you find that the first thing Jamie has to do is to review the current plan. What is with the current plan that maybe why does she really want to maybe switch to another plan? Review the current mobile plan that Jamie has. The second one is to define parameters for the new plan. Okay, so those are the first two things that we look at. The third one is watch commercials on TV, research companies. So you check that in all those swim lanes, we are basically trying to detail everything that Jamie needs to do if they are to switch to another mobile plan successfully. What does Jamie expect? What are Jamie's expectations? She expects that she can find clear online information, maybe to compare if I'm switching from MTN to Airtel. What is maybe their data rates? What are their call rates? What their ability to compare the plan breakdowns, friendly and helpful customer support. Those are their expectations. So when you're coming up with this journey map, you get to know, you detail out everything that person has to go through to achieve their goal, and you also have their expectations that they need at the end of that experience with a particular maybe software or a particular process. Hope that's clear. Can we continue? Okay. So there are different templates. There are different templates of journey maps that you can always choose any that you wish to have, but I've covered the first one, the others I will not cover them. Um, Key elements of journey maps. One section is the point of view. Always choose the act of the story as we said that first identify who you're going to be drawing this journey map for. Like for that example of the admission process system, you first identify that I have students, then I have enrollment officers, then I have academic registrars. So that is the first thing that you have to identify. Who, which user am I going to be drawing this customer journey map for? Is it a student? Is it an enrollment officer? Is it the academic registrar? Within that, whatever you're going to redesign, identify people that you're going to be drawing these journey maps. This journey map for. The second element, okay, element is the scenario which I've been explaining previously. Determine the specific experience to the map. Like in the example of the admission process, we first identify the student, what is the scenario or what the student does on that system is it's the application scenario. What is in the application scenario? You upload this, you do this. That's basically what the scenario is about. The other input is the action, mindset, and emotions. We are saying at the heart of the journey map, a narrative is what the user is doing, thinking, and feeling during the journey. So the student will tell you either uh, the generating the reference number takes long. When we generate it, then it expires in a few minutes. That is all emotions or mindsets that the user will be telling you as they're interacting with a specific, with maybe that admission process. Is that a question? Someone has unmuted. Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. Uh,
Sorry.
Okay. Lastly, I think other touch points and channels. No, actually, touch points. Um, these are like basically what points that does the user interact with the system. Um, like still for the example of of the admission process, you'll find that the admission system, it's quite a big system, but the students don't interact with the system in whole, like all of it. They will find like they have some specific touch points where they have maybe an application, maybe page where they interact with. So the map should align touch points, basically times when the actor in the map interacts with that specific product. We are putting there a company, but at what point does the actor interact with that specific system? Like when, as in our example of admission process, the student is going to come maybe to that system to only apply. Like there is no any other point when when the student is interacting with the system. We are saying these elements deserve special emphasis because they are often where the branding consistency and disconnected experiences are uncovered. Those touch points are okay, I'm on the application module, I am on this. That's when you get to know, oh, maybe the application module has a problem, maybe the form filling has an issue. Last is the insights and ownership. So basically, we're saying the entire point of the journey mapping is to uncover gaps in the user's experience, to uncover issues that are not in line with what the user maybe would expect, or what is frustrating with the users, what is frustrating the users, and then take action to optimize the experience. So insights and ownership are critical elements that are often overlooked. Any insights that emerge from the journey should be explicitly listed. We know what, Paul, you know what an insight is. Hmm. 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 Okay, so in this case, like for example, the admission, huh, okay, Ed, Edwin, please go ahead.
To me, like an insight is like you have a whole working system, but you need to know those specific tiny detail, just a
Hmm.
snippet of what is actually can represent the entire operation of the system. So if I have an insight of something, a little view of the entire thing, that would be an insight.
Yeah, I think that's in that angle. Thank you. Edwin, thank you for coming online. Where do these videos go? You found us asking, and they told me you're the expert, you're the one that you recommended us. After I end the meeting, where do the videos go? Because I've looked for the previous lectures videos, I failed to see it.
It should be it should be within the app probably. The fact that it's the app recording, you could log into that section. I'm certain the videos might be landing there.
We didn't, you remember we added the extension. I didn't install the
Yeah,
app.
but the extension is more or less like an app on its own.
I don't know why I closed the tab, but somehow it happened. But I'm back. Videos, I'll try to just read where I can get them. maybe after. Okay. So we are saying in those journey maps, after you doing your journey map, ensure that whatever small details you've been getting, like maybe a student saying, you know what, it takes long to generate maybe the payment reference number on the admission process. That small idea or that small knowledge that you have got during that journey mapping, and what we are saying, ensure that it is listed down still in the journey map, like after you have gone through all the process. And also, where if possible, assign who is in charge to address that on your team. If we are like a team of five, you'll be like, okay, we've got an insight about the reference generation having some issue here and here. Who is in charge? Edwin, you're in charge of dealing with that. That's basically what a customer journey map is. So we have rules that we can follow while creating these journey maps. And eh, sorry, sorry. Okay, so we have rules of creating successful journey maps, and one of it is establish the why and what. Identify the business goal that the journey map will support. What is the main reason why you're drawing maybe why you're coming up with journey maps for that admission process? There should be a reason to why you want to come up with those journey maps. So establish why. Make sure that they are clear answers to these basic key questions before you begin the process. Why? Maybe you want to improve the admission process. Maybe there is an issue. They should be have answers to the why and what. The second rule is that base the entire journey mapping on truth. They're saying journey maps should result in truthful narratives, not fairy tales. Start with gathering any existing research, and then you can begin the journey map. The other rule is collaborating with others. Get people on your team or get stakeholders within, like like for example in Cavendish, yes, the admission process may involve enrollment officers, students, and what, but we are saying where possible, bring in other stakeholders within the university to help compiling and building the map. You can get maybe someone who is who, like they're not really affected by the admission process, but they're within the company. Maybe you can get maybe a CEO, maybe the lecturers. Yeah, they're not maybe affected by the admission process, but they might give you valuable input during the process of journey mapping. Um, the other rule is that don't jump to visualization, coming up with graphs to show this and this and this. Take time when you're doing coming up with those journey maps. And last but not least is engage others with the end product. Make it a living interactive document that always people can be part of, and in meetings and these journey maps are with, I know you generate them as the design team, but you can even use them to communicate things to the management of the institution that you're maybe redesigning a process for. So we're saying you can always use it and engage others on, oh, this is what we found, this is what we found, students are, rather than just keeping them to yourselves as the design team. So that's basically what we do in the process of journey mapping, or what we do when we are coming up with journey maps. Another tool we use to build empathy is called mind Maps. Other questions with the customer journey maps before I go to another tool? Any questions? Should I assume? I don't want to assume. Kajimu, is everything clear?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Um, I have 37%, but I'm just hoping maybe I may be able to rush through these slides and finish. But in case I black out and you see 5 minutes I've not logged in, just know my battery is down completely. Power came back in Makere, but again the building where I was seated in, they closed. So I am literally out, just suffering. Okay, so we have what we call mind maps. It is another tool that we can use to build empathy with people. So with mind maps, it's more of getting information, but from our minds. And eh, now I'm using the same word. It's basically an easy way to get information in and out of our brain. So, and we normally even apply it to our usual, to our daily life. You think of something, and then all you do is that you have to just note down of things that you're generating from your brain. Normally, as you're thinking, like it's one of the tools that you that is very important in design thinking. You can just have, anyway, I don't know. Well, I don't know whether people have begun research, but when you begin the stage of research, okay, maybe for undergrad, and it is somehow it used to be a bit obvious. But when you're coming up with your research topic, normally at the beginning, the things are not clear. You just have like a hint of, oh, I think I want to look at security. Then you like security, but security in what? Because in technology, you have a lot of things like, yeah, I have passion for security. Like when you're just beginning, you're like, okay, security. So in the long run, the first thing is that you have a spark, which is security. But now your brain has to start mind mapping here and there. Security in what? Is it in computer networks? Then you start saying security in computer networks, security in maybe cyber security, or security in wireless networks, or security. Now you're trying to get now more details about security and the field. Like, okay, if we're talking about security in computer networks, what security am I really adding still in computer networks? Maybe security of the data. So you keep on building things from your mind. You just open up your mind and you start thinking of things. Then there you're doing the process of mind mapping, and you come up with what we call a mind map. So these users that you're interacting with, you can use mind maps to generate information from them, or even you guys, you can use mind mapping in the entire process of design thinking to come up with many ideas and help you maybe solve various problems that you can encounter. We are saying mind mapping encourages problem solving by showing new paths. It's easy to read and remember. It is a tool, not a solution. It is even highlighted in blue. It is a tool, not a method, or it's not a solution. It shows the whole picture and details at the same time. I don't know whether I have an example. Is there someone asking? Is mind mapping more like brainstorming? Um, a bit related, but not the same. I
How
think
are
that
they
is the
different?
um,
And which mind are you mapping? The user or the designer?
n- okay. So you the designer, you the design team, when when you're hired in an organization like Cavendish to do design thinking. Maybe you want to redesign the admission process of Cavendish University. It is again not you who is supposed to think, because we said we want to understand our users and they tell us. You can use it in the team for your own, like for your own doing. Maybe you've already now got the different minds of different people, of different users on the team, that you have got minds from a student, from the enrollment officer. You can apply mind mapping, you as the design team, based on the information you have got from those people. But now, if Kajima, I don't know whether that answers the question.
Yeah, I've known you are basing on the user.
Sorry.
You have said you base on the user to do mind mapping, not you, the
Yes,
designer.
because like for example, in the admission process, you want to know information from the student, maybe regarding the application module, maybe on that system. So you can just have like a theme of what you want to know. Maybe how fast is the, no, that is not really a good example. What would I want to know? I'm not even thinking of what we would want to know. But you need to, there is always a point that you want to know, and with mind mapping, you more of get more details in regards to that point, by thinking out, by allowing the user to think out different in different directions. Let me maybe have an example. I think we have examples down there that might bring it out. Um, should I read the advantages and disadvantages? Paul, conclude. Do I read that? Should I read the advantages and disadvantages, or I leave you and you read? Okay, allow me skip them. Okay, why mind map? We are saying mind maps are more convenient than traditional linear notes, because traditional notes wastes a lot of time. They take longer to read. Paul, are you, which side of your brain do you use most? Or what are you good at? Are you a left brain person or a right brain person? You're right-handed, so you use left. What what is the correlation? Is there scientific proof that if you're right-handed, you automatically using your left side of the brain? Is it scientifically proven?
Apparently, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that it correlates to the hands. Okay.
But if you're saying the traditional, writing notes, so if I'm mind mapping using
Hmm.
my own brain,
Hmm.
I'm also, shouldn't I be writing down something? And how different are those? How is that
Okay.
studied?
With the traditional notes, you know how you have like your paragraphs and your sentences. Now with mind mapping, you're just dealing with keywords. No sentence there, no paragraph. Okay, let me maybe scroll down. I'm going to skip principles. Okay. Um, Edrin, think of anything we can mind map about, so that I don't use examples in the group, in the textbook.
Challenges for online students at Cavendish.
Huh. Challenges for online students at Cavendish. So that is our theme that we are mind mapping. So with mind mapping, um, you like challenges of um, uh, um, students, online students at Cavendish. So with traditional writing, you would sit down and have paragraphs. These students are saying that currently in Cavendish, students are saying they have challenges in at the university regards to their online teaching. You literally have your tradition, our traditional way of working in writing notes and what. With mind mapping, we have challenges in of online students at Cavendish. It is at the center. Like for example, where we're seeing strategies for taking action, like that is at the center. For at this case, in our case, we are saying challenges for on or challenges faced by online students in Cavendish. The first thing, like in mind mapping, instead of me writing a note, I would say the first thing, maybe the first branch that would come from that theme would be which challenges. So you'd find like maybe you see where you're seeing my green branch here. You're seeing the green branch where I have goal setting.
Yes, yes.
So I would put there, okay, challenge of the, then I would put there which challenges. That is the first. That is my first route from my theme. Okay. Another thing would be challenges faced by um, challenges faced by students in online students on challenges faced by online students in Cavendish University. One thing I would say, which challenges? Uh-huh. Um, then another, like maybe another branch would be um, which challenges? I'm trying to get something. Um, what could it be? I'm trying to get the main branches from the theme, and then we can start getting the sub branches. Which challenges?
Maybe how are they challenges?
Edwin, would that be? But how are they challenges?
Yes, they may not actually be challenges per se.
Okay, how are they? Okay, how are they challenges? Any other?
Maybe
Okay,
why
madam, you would like
why
to break
are
down the
they
type of
challenged?
challenge,
But
maybe from the student side or from the teacher side, from the lecturer
from
side?
the student side, because we said student side. So from my theme here, I've already said which challenges. So I would go ahead and say maybe internet. Which other challenges do you guys have? Internet, high tuition.
How about the students give the challenges?
Okay, students give me the challenges because even me, I'm thinking of the challenges. I don't know them. Uh-huh. So on my branch here, on my branch of which challenges from my main theme, I've said one of the challenges is internet, and another one is the high tuition. Samantha, another challenge you have?
Unfortunately, I don't have for now.
Wow.
You don't.
Another one is
Mm,
not getting results in real time.
not getting results in real time. So we have
Delayed
Another
results.
one could be the faulty results themselves.
results themselves. Uh-huh. So you see that on my branch, which challenges I have now like 4 things there: internet, high tuition, not getting results on time. Uh-huh. So from internet, I would go ahead and have sub branches and get internet. Is it speed, availability, speed, availability? What else would I go? Okay, that is under internet. Then I go in tuition. What other things can I subdivide in tuition? You're saying high tuition. Um, okay. So basically, I don't know whether you pick the main. Is that you get the main? You get branches from the main theme, and you go into details of those branches. Like internet is one of the challenge. What is the challenge? Is it the speed or the availability? Okay. If That is it. It is the speed. Then you go ahead and subdivide the speed into other details until you get to until the branch no longer divides. I don't know whether it makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense. But I still want to know what's the difference between brainstorming and mind
Mhm.
mapping.
Okay. So
Because I'm
brain
seeing all this. This is typical brainstorming. What is that part that makes it quite different?
okay. So with brainstorming, you normally have uh, information you want to discuss. Let's brainstorm about this. But here we are trying to get like with mind mapping, we are trying to generate information from our brains, like from scratch. I think that is that. It's kind of related, but in
There's that element of visualizing in mind map. I think so.
mind mapping, you're trying to visualize how. What would I say? Okay, but generally, they're kind of related. But with brainstorming, I can say you come and we brainstorm about what would I say? You clearly know things that you're going to be talking about. Here in mind mapping, we are trying to generate information that we don't know. I think that is the small difference that I
Oh,
can think of. In mind mapping, we are trying to force our brain to give us more details of things that we know, of things that we don't know. In brainstorming, you have already things. You're just discussing already those ideas that you already have. Like I list down, maybe let's brainstorm about my finances here and here. How am I going to spend this? In my mapping, it's more of forcing my mind to generate new ideas or new information from a specific thing. I don't know, Edwin, whether that difference
okay.
has
So
been clear. Paul, yes, yes, Paul, come in, yes,
yeah. Paul, do you think Madam is still on?
Madam left just a little bit, like a little while ago. I don't know. Maybe she's messing with
Yeah,
power.
but Paul, to me, I feel like it's literally like the same thing because the central point here is the mind. The mind is involved in this.
Yes, that's what I also thought too,
Paul,
because
Paul,
it's,
Paul,
Yeah.
yeah.
Paul, you're still telling us before I went off. Paul, yes, yes, yes. Yes. You don't come again? No, someone is laughing. Why are you laughing? Paul is still explaining to us. Um, but I think brainstorming, you were on point. So with the they more look the same. I'm even looking for the difference. Nenga sijiraba. Okay, with mind mapping, you find that you're trying to connect from one dot to another. Like in brainstorming, you normally, as Paul said, you're trying to generate many ideas of this is what we can do, this we can do, this we can do this. But here now in mind mapping, you're more of how you try to connect if you say challenges, okay, with challenges, internet, how does internet connect? Okay, maybe they're paying less, so you're trying to connect all those ideas that you have come up so that you have a clear what a clear view of what actually you're trying to address. It brings the visualization out clearly, compared to brainstorming where you're just noting out different random solutions. I think that's what I can explain. Edwin, go to the internet.
Because the more you explain, the more it
Understood.
shows that they're actually the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, they are not the same thing.
But they're not the same. They have a
They
slight
aren't.
difference.
They aren't the same.
Excuse me,
Edwin,
madam.
Gand, read. Yes.
Oh, she's
Okay,
brainstorming.
I'm not,
Samantha, go ahead.
I'm not siding with Miss Barbara. Unfortunately, I'm not a good teacher. I won't be able to explain for everyone to understand.
Okay.
Even
Madam, can I ask something?
Yes.
So as you're designing that mind mapping,
Yes.
we first listen to what the users are telling us, isn't it?
Yes.
And then we come
No.
down and sit and then start thinking out what they told us. This, as we're
Yes.
building the mapping tool. But with
Yes.
brainstorming, let's
Mm.
say we have like a theme, challenges, then we sit down and start brainstorming. Like, so what challenges do you think? So it's like literally it's brainstorming. We are brainstorming even before reaching out to the users.
No, brainstorming with the design team. This normally happens, as Paul said, it normally happens at the ideator stage, when we've already listened to the users, and now we start brainstorming, and people, as the team, we start suggesting things,
Finding
random
out
things.
solutions for them.
Yes.
I think
Okay.
from what you've explained to me, I
Mm.
might the only way I'm seeing this being different is that in brainstorming there is no continuation of breaking down a specific point that you've given, unlike
Yes.
mind mapping, whereby if I get using the same example, brainstorming, if we get rid of that goal setting, brainstorming would have like the focus, get clear on the goal, write down the goals. That is brainstorming. But when you start now breaking down a specific point like number 3, goals must meet criteria, then you start giving those other points. Now that becomes probably now mind mapping, because it goes into each detail and tries to expound on it.
And then connect it to the root
Back
cause.
to the root strategy, that the theme, in the center theme that you had initially.
The good thing you have understood.
But at least I've not
Even Samantha said, okay, that is it. We can continue. Okay. I want to finish these slides today, but am I going to be able to finish them with this battery? Okay, that is another example of mind mapping. Like, for example, you have a dream house, Then you start saying, okay, let me add that it will have a bathroom, it will have a bedroom, it will have a hall. Then you go ahead and like it really gives more details, and then you say, okay, you write some other notes there. The bedroom will have a bed. Then you add the images. So it's more of the visualization. It kind of gives you a clear view of what you people are planning to implement. Okay, I think those are examples. I'm just going to skip them. Mind map. Okay, there are some softwares you can use for mind mapping. The manual tool is paper, then but there are also some softwares that you can use. I don't know whether they're open source or they are not, but there is Xmind, which other one? Xmind and Microsoft. Would it really work? It can, eh?
Yes, madam, it will work.
It works, eh? I
Yes.
think that one is open source. There is, mm,
True, it's paid for.
it's paid for.
Yes.
Okay, me, I
That's
don't know.
because I have evidence.
So there are many tools. I think I know Xmind. I know that one may not be open source. There is also Main Star, or something like MEI, something like that. Then there's also Simple Mind. So you can decide to use those softwares in case you can afford them if they're not open source. But you can also decide to use pen and paper and colors here and there to do the mind mapping. Um, that is summary. It helps you to remember things, making better notes, coming up with better ideas. It saves that one you can read. Just going to skip it. Don't you think we are done? The lecture is done. Anyone that doesn't remember the defined phase, so that I explain it again, because I'm sure every word that is written here, we talked about it. My battery is low. Okay, I think we can skip that. Point of view, when you're reading, they'll be explaining point of view, but it is the same thing as the problem statement, which we define, which we come up with, I think, in the define phase, in those 5 phases. So at this point, you create, it's either called a point of view or a problem statement or user need statement, and it happens in the define stage. That's why you and the team, you clearly write out the problem statement, or you clearly identify what.
Yep, I think Madam's PC just passed away.